Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know what's the best thing that you can do to improve yourself? Be open to criticism. You know the idea of being coachable, right? A lot of people say stuff like, don't listen to the haters, bro. Which look, in certain cases some people are being negative just to be negative, but for the most part if you have critics, and let's say a large amount of critics or criticism lobbed in your direction, then maybe, just maybe there's something to it. Just maybe you should open up your mind, actually listen to what these people are saying and have a moment of introspection, think, and come up with a new strategy. You know, if you really think about it, my YouTube channel does nothing but go after leftist hypocrisy. I guess you could view me as a critic. Some may view me as a hater. But really, my YouTube channel is a gold mine. If the Biden administration or if the Democrat establishment actually paid attention to what I was saying, what other people were saying about them, they might actually be able to turn this whole thing around. But obviously, they're never going to do that. They continue to live in their little bubble, oblivious to the realities around them, the realities that regular American citizens have to deal with every single day, the economic reality of the lower and middle class, and they just don't get it. There's no self-awareness, they're not paying attention, their critics have been telling them that you're out of touch, you sound ridiculous, yet they continue to ignore it all and make absolute clowns of themselves. Let me show you guys the most ridiculously out-of-touch statements from just the last couple of days. We've got some stuff to get into, but of course, before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible, and with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so talking point number 1. This comes from Mrs. Stabenow, Michigan Democrat Senator Debbie Stabenow, who apparently didn't get the memo. The Biden administration, since the start of the gas crisis, started off with this talking point, well, if gas is so high, then just get a Tesla. Although actually they don't say get a Tesla, they say get an EV, because for some reason this administration is too petty and too at war with Elon Musk and Tesla. But either way, they keep getting clowned on this exact talking point. Just get a Tesla, they tell you. And they have been getting clowned on this exact talking point for over a year at this point, even longer than that. But Michigan Democrat Senator Debbie Stabenow hasn't gotten the memo. Take a look at this.
I do have to say, just on the issue of gas prices, after waiting for a long time to have enough chips in this country to finally get my electric vehicle, I got it and drove it from Michigan to here this last weekend and went by every single gas station, and didn't matter how high it was. And so I'm looking forward to the opportunity for us to move to vehicles that aren't going to be dependent on the whims of the oil companies and the international markets.
And again, do you guys know what the average cost of an electric vehicle is? More than $56,000. Let's do a little quick Google search. Average income in Michigan. The average individual income in Michigan for the year 2020 was less than $31,000, and the total household income is $59,000. But Michigan Democrat Senator Debbie Stabenow says, well, if gas prices are so high, then just spend an entire year of household income on an electric car. In other words, be less poor is essentially what she's telling you. And they just don't get it. They don't seem to understand that telling people to be less poor, as pretty much every normal person right now feels much more poor than they did a year ago, unless you're incredibly wealthy and happen to be in real estate. During some of the worst recent economic times, they continue to push this absurd rhetoric. And at the end of the day, it's nothing but a flex and a virtue signal. Look how much better and superior I am. I make more money than you and I'm more environmentally conscious. I'm rich and I'm saving the planet. Look at you and your gas guzzler. That's really at the end of the day what it is. And they wonder why they're so deeply unpopular, not to mention this idea that they're morally superior because they drive electric and you don't is a complete joke in the first place. We all remember this infamous video.
No, the battery in this particular design is a T-shape right down the center and across the back seat area. Because everybody thought we killed the electric vehicle. No, we didn't. It's alive and well.
So what's charging the batteries right now? What's the source of
well,
electricity?
Here, it's coming from the building.
I mean, is it what's our mix of power?
Oh, actually, Lansing feeds the building.
What's that?
Lansing feeds power to the building. So I don't know.
They're
I bet you they're a bit of coal. Well, they're going to be on natural gas, aren't they?
Right now the car's charging off of your grid.
Right. It would be charging off our grid, which is about 95% coal.
Until the actual power grid goes nuclear or something, really at the end of the day, it's the timing. The timing is what's so egregious. It's just such a bad look the way these Democrats refuse to listen to the American people, and specifically on the economy. I mean, Joe Biden over the last couple of months has said the same thing over and over again. It's the greatest economy and greatest economic recovery in American history, and it's all thanks to his administration. And he continues to say this, and Democrats continue to say all of this other pompous, out-of-touch, arrogant garbage, while Americans are suffering financially. That is a fact. And you think at one point they would learn, like, hey, maybe we should acknowledge the fact that things aren't going so great right now and try to come up with solutions, but instead they continue to pat themselves on the back. Oh, look at me and my electric car, look what I'm doing to save the planet. Or Joe Biden, as everyone else is suffering, I'm the greatest president of all time. And even yesterday, as Joe Biden goes on Jimmy Kimmel, the shill's show, he keeps pushing the same rhetoric.
Look, here's where we are. We have the fastest growing economy in the world. The world.
We have the fastest growing economy in the world, Joe Biden says. And key word here is the fastest growing economy in the world. The economy literally shrank last quarter. If the next quarterly report comes out and shows that the economy shrank again, then the economy isn't growing at all, it's shrinking. And we're officially in a recession. The technical definition of a recession. 2 consecutive quarters of economic shrinking. These Democrats continue to insult you, and they do it in the most out-of-touch, pompous way possible. And they all fall in line and they all push the same garbage talking points. Here's Joe Biden's new White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, in a semi-incoherent response, once again completely dismissing consumer confidence and all of the economic data that we're seeing.
83% of people polled by the Wall Street Journal say the economy is poor or not so good.
So when it comes to consumer confidence, is what you're talking about there, we know that can reflect concern and uncertainty about higher prices. People feel the effect of high prices when they go to the grocery store and they feel they're up their gas tank, which the president understands. But the fact is we are in a fundamentally different place compared to when the president took office and compared to this time a year ago. And so, you know, during this presidency, people felt uncertain about the economy generally, but they actually felt as good about their personal financial situation as they ever have, according to the Federal Reserve survey, with nearly 80% of adults reporting that they are financially comfortable. So that matters as well.
We are actually seeing the worst economic outlook number since 2008. And a super majority, actually in some of the numbers that we've seen, 85% of people surveyed have a negative future outlook of economic conditions. And instead of taking that seriously, the White House looks at you straight in the face and says, well, isn't this the greatest economy you have ever seen? I mean, how historic, we're so great. And then the rest of these Democrat establishment hacks tell you, why are you so poor? Just buy an electric car already, peasant. I am beginning to loathe these people. I have made so many videos covering the same thing, and like I keep saying, and like I said in the intro, if you want the answer to your problems, the answer to your woes, Democrats, then actually pay attention here. Of course, they'll never do it, but they come off as the most pompous, arrogant, virtue-signaling, elitist people in society. I mean, it's just unreal. They operate in a completely different world, a fantasy world that regular Americans are not living in. In fact, it's getting so blatant, Democrats are looking so bad, in terms of looking out of touch and elitist, that even Brian Stelter is challenging them on that exact idea.
Is part of the problem with the coverage of the economy that people like White House aides and, yes, TV anchors don't feel the pinch as much as the average American? And let me put that in a personal way, Gene. Do you feel the pinch? Do you feel the pain?
You know, I feel the pain for so many families in our lives. I think.
But for you, do you feel?
You know,
I mean,
I don't want to
$72
say
for gas this morning. Do you feel it? Do you pay it?
I never thought I'd say this, but even Brian Stelter is starting to get it. You can't celebrate the economy and take victory laps when your presidential approval on the economy is 28%, not even 30%. Not even a majority of Democrats are thinking you're doing a good job. You just can't do that, and when people are suffering financially, and the US savings rate is the lowest it's been since 2008, you can't virtue signal and tell people to buy electric cars that cost more than the average yearly salary. That's exactly what these these Democrats and this regime is going to do. When faced with tough questions, and when asked about the current state, the current reality that Americans are experiencing, they'll just continue to ignore the questions and pat themselves on the back. Just like Joe Biden's chief of staff, Ronald Klain, was asked on MSNBC, are there any updates and progress that's been made since baby formula and other things have been in the news that you want to share? And his response was, well, America feels more like itself again. He didn't even answer the question. These Democrats would rather live in an alternate reality where everything is just going smoothly and peachly as they continue to celebrate their historic success while Americans continue to suffer. It's frankly disgusting. That's what I got for you guys though. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe. I'm gonna get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.